Thank you, madam. It is really a matter of pride and pleasure that I have been invited to say a few words about Dr. Vittal Srirang Bandal. He is the eminent speaker of our program. Dr. Vittal Srirang Bandal is principal at Government Polytechnic College, Pune. He did his PhD from IIT Bombay. He did his BE and ME from Government College Engineering Karat, and he was also gold medalist at B level. He has received many awards, Best Paper Award at national as well as international level. In his contribution, he has published near about 32 research papers. He has participated in 17 training programs. He has also participated in 20 national and international conferences. As far as research is concerned, he has completed one MODROP project from AICT, one RPS project sponsored by AICT, and he has completed a consultancy project of near about 37 lakh rupees. He has taught 26 subjects related to electrical and electronics engineering during his career. He remained on the various administrative posts, which Head of Information Technology, Chairman, Advisory Committee, Member of Board of Studies, and many more. And at the most, he has delivered near about 139 talks as an eminent speaker in the different program at national and international level. And today will be his 140th talk, I think so. So I welcome Dr. Vittal Bandal, sir, to share his rich knowledge with our participant. Dr. Vittal.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's my privilege and it's really a pleasure to talk in front of Dr. PM, to whom I have a very high regards. I have learned many things from him. So I'll share my screen and I'll start my presentation. And is my screen shared with you?
The screen is not shared.
Okay, I'm trying to share my screen. Okay. I hope my screen is visible.
So yes, now it is visible.
Okay. Good afternoon. In fact, good evening to all of you. Before I start my lecture, I want to share a small story with all of you, because as Dr. Kodke has mentioned, most of the things which were in my mind, that NBA going for accreditation is not one-time activity. It's not an event management. It's really a philosophy. A few years back, you must have seen an advertisement on television saying it was a Pepsi advertisement: eat Pepsi, drink Pepsi, sleep Pepsi. I always believe like that. NBA or accreditation is my passion. I am associated with accreditation for last 14 years. And you can say, you tell me at any point of the time, I can tell you all 10 criteria, all 52 sub-criteria, all 1000 mark distribution, everything I can tell you in detail. Today, I have been given a limited scope of talking about what is the importance of OBE. So before I start, as I said, I want to share a small story with all of you. Story goes like this: attitude based described. So an old man lived near Jaipur. He wanted to spade his potato garden, but it was very hard work. His only son who would have helped him was in a prison in Mumbai, and this old man wrote a letter to his son and mentioned his situation. He said, "Dear beta, I am feeling pretty bad because it looks like I won't be able to plant my potato garden this year. I hate to miss doing this garden because your mother always loved a planting time. I am just getting too old to be digging up a garden plot. If you were here, all my troubles would be over. I know if you were not in a jail." It is a letter written by an old man to his only son who was, because of some reason, was in a prison. Shortly, this old man received a letter from his son and he said, "For heaven's sake, Papa, don't dig up the garden. That is where I have buried the guns." As you know, all the letters in and out are scanned by jail authorities. The jail authorities scanned this letter, and at 4 a.m. next morning, a dozen of special task force and local police officers showed up and dug up the entire garden without finding any guns. This old man got confused and wrote another note to his son telling him what happened and asked him what to do then next. His son's reply was, go ahead and plant your potatoes. Papa, it's the best I could do it from here. The moral of the story, which is very important, which is applicable to all of us, is that no matter where you are in the world, if you have decided to do something deep from your heart, you can always do it. It is a thought that matters and not where you are or where the person is. I think accreditation is like that only. It's a matter whether you want to do it for the sake of submission of a ESR, getting accredited and forgetting it. Dr. Khodke has given a wonderful example, whether after research, after getting your doctoral degree, or whether it's a license to actually pursue or venture into a research. So it's like that. It's a passion. NBA is not, or accreditation is not one-time activity. It should become a way of your life, as we all have accepted academics as our passion, and we have come in a teaching profession as our passion. We must accept it and we should leave it with. And that's why I always believe mapping of COR, articulation of course outcome, program outcome, it's mapping, then assessment, attainment with a direct assessment, indirect assessment. It should become a way of our life. And I always believe, unless and until you don't enjoy doing things. As a teacher, when I go to a class and if I start scratching my head, a student will immediately realize, oh, this gentleman is not prepared. If I'm not enjoying my lecture, my students will never enjoy your lecture. And I always believe a good teacher is the one who is passionate about his or her teaching, who enjoys his lecture. Students, people around you will always enjoy your lecture. With this small story, I wish to start with what is accreditation. What is accreditation? It is basically a formal recognition of the quality of an educational program or institution, because in our country, as on date, there are two different agencies. Obviously, with the new education policy, there will be only one agency, National Accreditation Council, which will come under the umbrella of NHRC, National Higher Education Regulatory Council. But as on date, we do have two agencies. One does a program accreditation known as National Board of Accreditation. Another does the institution accreditation known as a National Assessment and Accreditation Council. As you all know, both of these are the outcomes of National Education Policy published in 1986. The first outcome was establishment of AICT in 1987 by Parliament Act, and subsequently, in order to have a quality measures, in 1994, the NAC established under the umbrella of UGC, NBA established under the umbrella of AICT. Subsequently, NBA became an independent or autonomous body from 2010, and it started functioning independently. But we do have these two bodies, and that's why I say it's a formal recognition of the quality of an educational program or institution by external independent agency on the basis of impartial assessment. It means that your evaluators will be from different states. They will not have any direct or indirect connection with your institute. And it is based on well-defined criteria. As you all know, there are 10 well-defined criteria, which basically starts from vision, mission, and program educational objective. Criteria number 2 is a program, curriculum, and teaching learning. Criteria number 3 is a course outcome and program outcome. It's assessment and attainment. Criteria 4 is a student performance. Criteria number 5 is a faculty contributions. Criteria number 6 is facilities and technical support. And criteria number 7 is a continuous improvement. First 7 criteria are related with the program, which goes for 780 marks out of 1000 marks. And remaining 3 criteria at the institute level. The criteria number 8 is a first year academics. Criteria number 9 is the student support systems. And criteria number 10 is governance, financial resources, and institutional support. So these 220 marks are common for all the programs, irrespective of whether you are a tier 1 institute or a tier 2 institute. And 780 marks, obviously internal variation will be there. For tier 1, some criteria will be stringent. And for tier 2 institution, little flexibility will be there. But however, it is a well-defined 10 criteria on which you will be evaluated. And that's what is accreditation. What is the purpose of accreditation? As you all know, that we have accepted Washington Accord, and we go with the Washington Accord. The purpose of accreditation is to promote and recognize excellence in technical education in colleges and universities at all the 3 levels: diploma level, undergraduate level, postgraduate level. As you know, diploma level, 9 criteria are there. undergraduate level 10 criteria are there, and obviously postgraduate level criteria are different, evaluation is different. It's a 500 marks evaluation because some criteria or something which is already an integral part of undergraduate program, because usually an institute will always have an undergraduate program as far as technical educations are concerned, and subsequently they will have PG programs. But for us, all we go as per NBA, that is as per Washington Accord. It means we do have graduate attributes. What is the significance? Why we go for accreditation? Or significance is it helps institution to know its strength, weakness, and opportunities. Nowadays we call it as a SWOT analysis. It initiates institutions into innovative and modern methods of pedagogy. It provides a society with a reliable information on quality of education offered, and obviously it promotes intra and inter-institutional interactions. What is the impact? Yes, so many impacts are there. It encourages quality improvement initiatives by the institution. Because somebody endorses the quality improvement initiatives which you have. It improves students' enrollment both in terms of quality and quantity. It helps institutions in securing necessary funds, as you all might be knowing. Whenever we apply for any central government agencies for funding, the first question which is asked, or the first question which is given importance almost to the tune of 20 to 25 marks in 100 marks evaluation is that, is your program accredited? So it's one of the threshold with the help of which obviously you go to a next level of a scrutiny. It enhances employability because OBE precisely speaks about KSB. Dr. Kodke sir has iterated knowledge, skill, and behavior. These are the primary attributes of any engineering graduates. That's why KSB. It motivates faculty to participate actively in academic and related institutional and departmental activities. It helps to create sound and challenging academic environment. And at the end, last but not the least, it contributes to a social and economic development of a country by producing high quality technical manpower. This is what is basically the essence of accreditation. What is Washington Accord? You all might be knowing. I'm just giving you abstract information of it. As you all know that it was an accord signed among 6 countries in 1989. Purpose was to mutually recognize and accept the qualifications accredited by signatories. As you know, as on date also, for our graduates to go for higher education in Western world, especially in US, UK, even European countries, our graduates has to undergo through 2 examinations. One is known as a GRE, Graduate Record Examination, and another is a TOEFL, which is a test of English as a foreign language. Why it is? It is because of that. Because we do not have a kind of agreement. But yes, India has become a permanent signatory in 2014. Today, 16 full signatories are there. It means that members of this Washington Accord have outcome-based accreditation. And we are proud that we have become the full signatory in 2014 as one of the signatory of Washington Accord. As I told you, there were 2 agencies. There are 2 agencies as on date. With the new education policy, there will be a merging of these 2. But as on date, we do have 2 agencies, NAC and NBA. As I said, NBA established in 1994 under the umbrella of AICTE and became subsequently an autonomous body in 2010. I'm just telling you the era of NBA, brief history. 1994 to 2003, a first format was put in use. This first format was basically capturing the abstract information about the institute and the program. So it was more subjective information. First revision happened in 2004, where they started capturing at least a statistical data in terms of input and output. So some numbers were started. Second revision happened in January 2009, and self-assessment report, or you can say OBE in a true sense, as Dr. Kodke mentioned, started in 2009, and it has become matured, or the format has become matured in 2015. That is October 2015 model. What today we are using for last 4 years is the January 2016 format, which is basically a 10 criteria format. So it's like editions of the books. In the beginning, everyone was understanding, everyone was getting trained. We started understanding, learning what is the outcome-based education, what is the concept of course outcome, what is the concept of program outcome. So specific outcome, How do you map them together? How do you correlate them together? How do we do the assessment? What are the direct assessment tools, indirect assessment tools? Oh, we started learning all those things, and the format has become matured, and we are using the format which was published in January 2016, which is called as the 6th version, and we are talking about that. This is a brief history of MBA. As I told you, 3 different models were there. In 1994 to 2003, the first model, minimal model. It was simply capturing the data. It started from 2004 to 2009, it started capturing input output. Means how many number of students are graduating, how many students are getting admitted, how many students are getting placed, how many faculty members. So you talk about resources on one side, you talk about output on other side. Every system will always have an input, process and output, but it was an output, not an outcome. In 2009, we started understanding outcome-based model. Let me just give you a couple of examples of outcome-based. What is outcome actually? So suppose I am teaching a mathematics course on a mathematics, and my first chapter is solution of a differential equation. When we'll be discussing course outcome, I'll tell you the Bloom's taxonomy, which talks about the 6 levels of learning, right from remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. And I will take you with a simple example through all these 6 levels of learning. But what is outcome based? So what is outcome? So if I'm teaching a course on mathematics wherein I'm teaching students the principles of how to solve a differential equation with the classical method. Classical method means we'll formulate an auxiliary equation from which you'll find a complementary function and particular integral, and our combination of a complementary function plus particular integral is a solution of a differential equation. Now you need to understand what is the objective of teaching this differential equation to the student. Oh, my objective, that is called purpose. What is the objective? My objective is to make students familiar with the solution of a differential equation. That is my objective. And what is my outcome? What do I expect from students? Abilities which they will be able to demonstrate is called as outcome. So what am I expecting? I am expecting that students will be able to solve, students will be able to analyze the problems in engineering domain involving differential equations. So they might be solving, I am an electrical engineering graduate. So when they will solve a simple Kirchhoff's voltage law equation, or they will apply that Kirchhoff's voltage law to simple series RLC circuit, wherein they will say, oh, V of t, some excitation is equal to R into I of t plus L into di by dt plus 1 over C integration I dt. Is a simple integral differential equation governing the behavior of that simple electrical network. I will take a derivative on both the sides so that it will become a differential equation, because presently it is an integral differential equation. And if I am able to apply my knowledge of mathematics here, oh, then there is output. I might have passed that course with a 75 marks, but if I am not able to solve this problem in a subsequent year of my engineering using that knowledge, then there is only output, there is no outcome. And that's what a fundamental difference between output and outcome. So output is there. Oh, because I have passed that course, I have got 75 marks, but I am not able to solve the problem involving a differential equation, and that's what outcome is. I'll give another simple example of outcome in a layman's language. Suppose as a civil engineer, you have to construct a bridge across a river. As a civil engineer, what you are going to do? Oh, you will do the first of all the soil analysis, structural analysis, because you have to decide upon what kind of foundation will be required there, or whether a pile foundation will be required or raft foundation will be required, because you want to understand what is the structure. Or then you will do a BOQ or BOM, bill of quantities or bill of material, whether 6 mm bar or 12 mm bar, what steel will be required, what mortar, what cement will be required. And ultimately, based on the construction period, usually which is 18 months, depending upon what, it will vary from structure to structure. It depends. If you have some precasted structure, the construction period may get reduced. But based on the construction period, you will construct a bridge. In my opinion, construction or completion of a bridge connecting 2 ends of the river is an output activity. If no one is going to use that bridge, in my opinion, there is no outcome. There is only output. Bridge is there, but nobody is using that bridge. It means that outcome is nothing but demonstration of the ability which you have, and that is basically outcome. So my further discussion will be focusing only on outcome. What is philosophy of outcome-based education? As just now I said, or you have this input output based. So input means you have the measurable inputs and you have measurable outputs. How many students are graduating? Am I talking about the attributes of those graduates in terms of knowledge, skill, and behavior? The answer is no. I'm only talking about how many students are getting first class, how many students are getting second class, pass class, and distinction. I'm only talking about quantitative grades. I'm only talking about success rate. It means our 60 students were there in a class, out of which 56 students got graduated. Oh, I'm saying my result is more than 95%. So I'm talking only about numbers, measurable outputs. There is a paradigm shift from measurable input output based to outcome based, wherein knowledge, skill, and behavior. These are the three baskets. Our 12 graduate attributes, when we'll discuss, I will tell you these 12 graduate attributes, I can map in these three baskets. Not necessarily there are watertight compartments in these baskets, or there are interchangeability or mapping can happen concurrently also. Some part of the attribute will get mapped with the knowledge, some part of it will get mapped with the skill also. But yes, these are the three baskets wherein you will be able to map all the graduate attributes known as a knowledge, skill, and behavior. And that's what we are going to discuss. That is what is nothing but outcome-based education or outcome-based philosophy. Who are our stakeholders? Why we are doing this outcome-based education? Oh, these are our stakeholders, and they do have some expectations also. So students, faculty, support staff, industry and employers, parents, government, and obviously at the end, society. All these are our stakeholders. We want to satisfy them, as Dr. Uday Kumarji was rightly telling, that the learning must happen. When I go to a class, I must tell my student what is the purpose, my purpose, or what is my objective today to come in a class, what I want to do. I should not only teach, I should ensure that learning happens. It should not, I should not only deliver my course, I must ensure that it's properly delivered and learning has happened. That's more important. It means it should not be only output that I have conducted or I have taken my 40-45 classes in a semester. Whether I could deliver something to the student at the end of the day, that is more important. Because there are certain expectations of our stakeholders, which I'm trying to summarize in the form of this. Every stakeholder, for example, parents will look at infrastructure, building, facilities, because when students go home, they discuss with their parents about the facilities which they have. Faculty, obviously teaching, learning. As you all know, in this pandemic situation of COVID, everyone has understood the importance of online learning or online teaching. We all are doing in online mode, but I always believe there is always an age of face-to-face learning or face-to-face teaching over this all online teaching methodology, or LMS, you can say, learning management systems or protocol platforms which we have. Obviously, they will aid, they will help, they will support industry interaction, branding of an institute. Employability, obviously, it will be related with the placement record and what students can do after graduating, and that's what we are emphasizing, that is KSB, knowledge, skill, and behavior. And we have to ask, everyone has, every faculty member needs to ask himself or herself a simple question, whether we are able to provide, cater a confident engineer of tomorrow. Are we preparing that? When I say confident engineer, Dr. Khoti also said that employability is somewhere around 35 to 40%. We need to ensure whether we are making employable graduates, whether graduates are employable, whether they do have learning, whether they do have skills. That's what is outcome-based, which is a student-centered learning philosophy that focuses empirically measuring the student performance, and that empirical measurement of student performance is nothing but outcome. For this, we need to ask few questions. Just to ask that question, I'm showing you a simple picture. On the left-hand side, you have gone to some restaurant for enjoying your dinner, and you ordered in the beginning as a starter, as a soup. If you talk about a traditional education, what you say? If I ask a question about how is the soup, you will say, okay, so you'll say not good enough. But if you have to talk in terms of OBE, I will talk about facts. I will talk about nutrition fact, whether it is high in proteins, whether it is low in calcium. It means I'll be talk about facts. And that's what is outcome. And that's what will make same soup will cost 150 rupees in one restaurant, may cost 3,000 rupees in some other restaurant. Various attributes, but obviously we'll be talking about outcome, and then only you will be able to comment whether the soup quality is good. It means you are talking about outcome. So in outcome, we always talk about the attributes. Let me just share with you one survey conducted by an employer. Dr. Kodke again mentioned rightly that we talk about the percentage of marks. Even Dr. Uday Kumar sir also mentioned about percentage of marks. CGPA may be one of the attributes. What industry looks at? Industry looks at almost 20 different ways to evaluate a graduate when they do their annual appraisal. Because our traditional education system does have some deficiencies. That's why we are going for OBE. So let me share what are the deficiencies. Why we are doing that? Because the traditional education system is providing students with a learning environment with little attention to whether students have learned the material or not. Our focus is not on learning. Our focus is on just studying. Most of the time our students are given grades and ranking. It means they are more exam oriented or CGPA or marks driven. That's a drawback of a traditional education. Graduates are not completely prepared as a workforce because yes, they lack in a skilling. Many skills, not only the practical skills, even communication skills also, they do lack. They do have a knowledge, various soft skills. That's why I said various soft skills. Communication skill, interpersonal skill, analytical skill, working attitude. That's what KSP is all about, behavioral attitude. As I said, why this is important? Because I'm just sharing with you one survey conducted by an employer. You will understand, I'm going to show you 20 attributes, but you will say, as an academic institute, our focus is always only on one attribute. What are those 20 attributes? Numbers are not important, which I'll be showing you on the right-hand side. These numbers are just indications. But what are more important are the attributes which are more important. As a graduate, what are the different attributes which we should look into as a graduate? First is a communication, verbal or written. Second is honesty, integrity. Third is a teamwork skills. Fourth is interpersonal skills, strong work ethics, motivation and initiative, flexibility, adaptability, analytical skills, computer skills, organizational skills. 20 skills are there. 20 different attributes are there. Detail orientation, leadership skills, self-confidence, friendly outgoing personality, well-mannered or polite, tactfulness, diplomacy, percentage CGPA, creativity, sense of humor, and finally risk-taking ability or entrepreneurial skills. But where is our focus? Our entire focus is always on percentage of CGPA. Look at my friends, the employer or the industry doesn't look at only one aspect or one attribute. They look at holistically. And these 20 different attributes are nothing but, or skills or qualities are nothing but those graduate attributes. When we say our 12 graduate attributes, right from engineering knowledge to program management and project management and finance, all these are embedded into those 12 graduate attributes. That's what is the focus, and that's what we all need to understand. So, as I said, traditional education has limitations in terms of planning, teaching, assessment, which gets transformed, approach altogether gets transformed in terms of planning. In terms of planning, or rather than we talk about different teaching methods, we talked about ILOs. ILOs are what? What are the intended learning outcomes? Or we talk about program outcomes. We talk about what are expectations. Then our teaching or methodology will be devised to achieve ILOs, and assessment also will be based on ILOs. So what are our intended learning outcomes? That is nothing but program outcomes. What are you expecting? When you want to make this student as a graduate, engineering graduate, what are the expectations of society? What are the expectations of industry? Are we able to cope up? Are we able to provide those all graduate attributes or learning outcomes? Those are 12 graduate attributes. So I'm just showing you with a picture what I said. That traditional education system, yes, every process, every system always has an input, that is teaching, staff, curriculum, laboratories, other resources. You do have a process. Teaching, learning is a process. You do have an output, which is student graduation, but it lacks in an overall feedback system. You can see what are our feedback mechanism. Hardly. That's why traditional education system, this has a drawback. OBE, yes, first two blocks are same. First two blocks will be same. Input, yes, it will have. Process, does it will have. Oh, now output will get transformed to outcome, and there will be two. One is a short term, another is a long term, and that's what we call it as a program outcome and program educational objectives, which are usually assessed or measured after 3 to 5 years, and that's why short term will be there and long term will be there. That's what short term, which we call it as a program outcomes, program educational objectives, which obviously are evaluated. You might be knowing 80% evaluation of these PEOs is through the feedbacks or surveys taken from stakeholders. 20% is from direct, whereas here 80% is from direct and 20% is from, yes, various feedbacks through stakeholders. And this is how our OBE or outcome-based education differs from the conventional education or traditional education. In nutshell, OBE does ask 4 questions. What do you want students to be able to do? What is your objective? How can you best help students to achieve? What is your methodology? How are you going to know that they have achieved it? So assessment. So outcome-based education will have outcome-based curriculum, outcome-based learning teaching, outcome-based assessment, and this overall will have the feedback, which we call it as continuous quality improvement, because unless and until you do not have a feedback in the system, you will not understand. As you all know, negative feedback in the electrical engineering control system, we say negative feedback makes system stable. So we must have a feedback in a system to make system stable. Positive feedback makes system oscillatory. Barkhausen criteria, gain A beta is equals to 1. It means that the OBE does have all these aspects. That's what I'm trying to show you with a picture, what I said just now. Same thing, nothing different, nothing else. As I said, CQI is a continuous quality improvement. And as you all know, we do have 2 methods, direct and indirect assessment method. So we do have assessment, we do have a program objectives, we do have program outcomes. This is called program educational objectives, program outcomes, course outcomes. So design approach is left to right approach. The evaluation or implementation approach is right to left approach. First of all, we are going to assess course outcomes, which in turn will help us to evaluate program outcomes. That will in turn help us to evaluate program objectives. That's what is basically OBE. And as I told you, direct and indirect assessment methods. So where we are here, we all graduates. This is what is the current state of affairs. We do have a structure. But does it give a meaningful way to a life, that structure? So same thing is applicable to our graduates. So current state is this, expected state is this. This is what is the expected state. This is one structure. Or from this is what is expected. This is what we call it as outcome. This is where we are, and this is where we wish to. That's what is expected state. It means OBE is what? Starting with a clear picture of what is important for the students to be able to do, and then our organizing our curriculum, delivery, and assessment to make sure learning happens. At the end of the day, studying is not important, learning is important. As I say, hearing and listening. When I say I'm hearing something, I hear from one side and it goes away from other side. When I do hearing without any purpose, it becomes simply hearing. When I do hear something with a purpose, it becomes listening. If you are listening to my lecture, or it means you are hearing something with a purpose. So when we hear something with a purpose, it becomes listening. When we hear something without a purpose, it simply becomes hearing. Same thing happens with our study also. When students study, without any focus, without any outcome, it becomes studying. Learning means, yes, I do learn. As you all know, we have learned in our primitive years, 2 + 2 = 4. We have learned that. Only in Amitabh cinema, it happens do or do patch. In real life, 2 plus 2 becomes always 4. It means we have learned 2 plus 2 is 4. And that's what is learning all about. We don't every day, you do not have to make use of calculator or take a pen and paper and do calculations because we have learned. And that's what is more important. So that's OBE basically is a top-down approach. Outcome-based education has outcome-based curriculum, outcome-based learning, teaching, outcome-based assessment. And this is what exists to the key constituents of OBE, and these key constituents are, I'm saying, left-hand side, if you look at design approach. The design approach is a top-down approach. Every program, every institute, every department will have vision, mission, program educational objectives, program outcomes, and course outcomes. What will happen, obviously, the implementation, I'm going to evaluate first of all course outcomes. Subsequently, it will help me to evaluate program outcomes, which are influenced by graduate attributes. Then that will help me to evaluate program educational objectives. Ultimately, it will help me to evaluate vision and mission. And that's how this implementation approach is a bottom-up approach. Design approach is a top-down approach. What I'm going to take you, I'm just going to take you through all these basics of what is vision, what is mission, what is the philosophy of program educational objective, what is the philosophy of program outcomes, what is the philosophy of course outcomes, and that's what is my today's objective. Let us understand one by one the philosophy, because I always believe you need to understand the philosophy. Because most of the time there is a lot of confusion. So it's not simply reading the SAR, you may get everything, but I believe that you must understand the basics. Let us start with vision and mission. What is vision and what is mission? Oh, vision, in my opinion, is a futuristic statement. It is a single statement which speaks about where you wish to, where you are today, where you wish to be after 5 years or 10 years down the line. Suppose someone had joined as assistant professor today, where someone wants to be after 5 years down the line, after 10 years down the line, that is what is a vision. And what is mission? Mission is the imperfect present tense. Mission is how are you going to reach there? So the means to achieve the vision is a mission. Many people write mission again as a futuristic statement, which is incorrect. Only vision is a futuristic statement. Mission is your action plan, which is in action, which is in place, which is in force. And that's why vision is always a futuristic statement, whereas mission is always an imperfect present tense. It means you are talking about, oh, how are you going to reach there? So what is your action? And you are in action mode in terms of a mission. So what is vision? Oh, vision, as I said, futuristic statement that the institution or department would like to achieve over a long period of time. And what is mission? Means to achieve that vision. I am giving a very simple example to make you understand what is the philosophy of vision and mission. My vision is to create high quality engineering professionals. You must be able to attribute, you must be able to have the logical meaning of each attribute which you are using in your statement. When I say I want to create high quality engineering professionals, what is my mission? How am I going to create high quality? Oh, my first is by offering. So I'm saying in an imperfect present tense, offering a well-balanced program of instruction by providing them a practical experience. It means there will be a balance of my theory curriculum and practical curriculum or lab curriculum in such a way that I will be able to provide them a practical experience. And I will be able to give them opportunities for overall personality development. It means I will give them exposure, I will give them a platform and exposure at co-curricular as well as extracurricular activities. These three will help me to achieve my vision. And that's why mission is the imperfect present tense and the vision is a futuristic statement. So this only can, to create a high quality engineering professional can be your vision, but mission again cannot be two, because mission is action. Mission is what you want to say, and that's what the mission is. Next comes program educational objective. What is program educational objective? It is a promise given by a program to the candidate. Why I should join a BTech electrical engineering program of your institute? What is the promise? You must be able to spell out our graduates. What are the attributes which are usually measured after 3 to 5 years? But you must be able to spell it out where they will be. What is program educational objective? it is obviously these are the broad statements which speaks about the professional and career achievements or accomplishments graduates achieve. You have to speak about that. These are broad statements. Usually they should be 3 to 5 in numbers. They should not be vague statement. They should be broad statement, and they must be in line with, they must align with your vision and mission of the institute and program. And that's why these are a broader statement. So program educational objectives describe career and professional achievements. As I said, they must be consistent with your mission. Obviously, they must be manageable and achievable by program. They should not be vague. That's why I said specific to the program. And obviously, they should be based on the needs of constitution. When you articulate these program educational objectives, you need to do a consultation. So the first part is consultation. Along with analyze the data on 2 lines. One is a data on a trends and another is a data on a future. Last 5 years down the line, the trend has changed that students are going for core trend. However, when we say what is data on future? India, even you look at a pandemic situation, digital era has expanded like anything. Perhaps we may not be using that extensively these platforms. Skype, maybe for some specific purpose, but Zoom, WebEx, Google Meet has become an integral life now. Everywhere we attend all the meetings, we deliver our lectures, we conduct our classes through one of the mode or integrated or dedicated platforms for learning management systems will also be there. Apart from those, like Moodle is a devoted or dedicated platform which can be integrated with system also, LMS. But the point we emphasize is that we need to understand all these things. And that's what I said. When you do a consultation and data on a trends in a development, this is also important. It's which spells out how do we evolve a program educational objective. Then but your objectives. Once you have objectives, then comes you are identify and design the courses with the defined objectives. That's what is the algorithm for evolving the program education objectives. I'm just sharing we say our electrical engineering graduates will be employable in diversified sectors. And 10% student every year will also pursue higher education in electrical engineering or other fields. Graduates will demonstrate measurable progress. Why I say measurable progress? Because suppose my student or my any graduate want as an assistant manager in an organization, and 3 to 5 years, if he or she climbs a ladder to the deputy manager level, so in my opinion, he or she has demonstrated measurable progress. Our some student opt for higher education, go for MS or MTech in IIT, let us say, because of their progress, academic progress, they will be offered a doctoral position by the respective guides. In my opinion, they demonstrate a measurable progress. And graduates will be able to communicate effectively, adopt lifelong learning, act with integrity, have interpersonal skills needed to engage in or lead and nurture diverse teams with commitment to their ethical and social responsibilities. Perhaps if you look at all these things, you will find they are embedding the graduate attributes. Yes, because they are graduates. We expect them, we are saying, oh, what is our promise? What our graduates will be able to. So we are talking about graduates, how they will be able to demonstrate after 3 to 5 years down the line. And that's what is a program education objective. Another example, just for your information, similar lines, but in a different way I have tried to articulate it. Able to successfully practice electrical engineering and related fields regionally, nationally, and globally. It means that you will be able to demonstrate some students are working, graduates are working at regional level, some of them are working at national level, some of them are working at global. Well educated in the concepts of electrical engineering and able to continue their professional development throughout their careers. A clear communication and teamwork and capable of functioning responsibly in a diverse way. Graduate attributes. Program educational objectives will be aligned with, in tune with, obviously, those graduate attributes. Then comes program outcomes. Program educational objectives are broad statements. Program outcomes are narrower statements, which speak. These are evaluated during graduation. These are evaluated during graduation as well as at the end of the graduation. However, program educational objectives are usually evaluated after 3 to 5 years down the line. Do you have any questions? Anybody has any questions at this point of the time? Because I could see some message was popping up. So if anyone has a question, I'm okay. If you interrupt me in between also, I'm okay. Or if you want to take up questions at the end also, I'm okay. I'm okay with both the things. So does anyone have any questions? Or shall I continue?
Sir, you can continue. Just a question was written by Academy that if anybody has any question, then they can write in the chat box.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. So program outcomes. As I said, program outcomes are narrow statements, and they speak about the knowledge, skill, and behavior, the 3 key attributes. These are narrow statements. Oh, they must align with the graduate attributes, and they must reflect the graduate attributes. And so now graduate attributes and program outcomes are one and the same. They are not different. So what are these program outcomes? They are narrow statements that talk about students expected to know at that time during as well as at the time of graduation. And that's why I said knowledge, skill, and behavior. And they must align with graduate attributes and they must reflect all graduate attributes. As you all know, 12 graduate attributes. I will just take you through the 12 graduate attributes. I presume you must have definitely gone through those, but let me just take you quickly through those 12 graduate attributes. First is engineering knowledge. We expect that students should be able to apply knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals, and an engineering specialization to the solution of complex engineering problems. We talk about abilities. It means engineering knowledge. If you recall, three baskets I said, knowledge, skill, and behavior. Now you just, in your mind, you just divide these 3 baskets, make these 3 baskets and try to put them. So engineering knowledge, if I put it in knowledge basket, problem analysis, I always believe it requires both. It requires a knowledge as well as skill. Suppose I want to solve a problem on Kirchhoff's current law. First of all, I must have a knowledge about what Kirchhoff's current law states. Oh, I know Kirchhoff's current law states algebraic sum of currents reaching at a node in any electrical network is equal to 0. That is knowledge. Oh, then I will apply. Then I will apply sign convention, and then I will be able to identify, formulate, and research, literate, and analyze complex engineering problem. Friends, this entire the journey or entire learning philosophy goes through the 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy, wonderfully explained in the 6 levels. First, bottommost level is remembering, understanding. Then next comes applying. Next comes analyzing, evaluating, and creating. When I'll talk about that Bloom's taxonomy, I will give you one simple example, and I will take you through all the 6 levels of understanding. So problem analysis, if you ask me in which basket I will map, well, I will map it in both the baskets. I will map, it's overlapping. actually in knowledge as well as skill basket, because for solving a problem, I need a skill. Then design development of solutions. Design solutions for complex engineering problems and design system components or processes that meet specified needs with appropriate consideration for public health, safety, cultural, societal, and environmental. It means you will be design and developments of solution. I will do one more thing also with this graduate attribute. What I'll do, once we discuss graduate attributes, I will take one graduate attribute and I'll try to explain with every graduate attribute, there are certain set of competencies associated, and for every competency, you have a performance indicator. So that is called as a micro level of analysis of a graduate attribute. This is called macro level. We are talking about a student should be able to do this. Students should be able to conduct investigations of complex problems using research-based knowledge and research methods, including design of experiments, analysis and interpretation of data, and synthesis of information to provide valid conclusions. This is what students do. When for example, just to give a simple example for this problem, suppose I'm taking two students to the laboratory and I'm demonstrating them the verification of Kirchhoff's current law. What do I do for that? Oh, I give them a simple one network, let us say, a complex network having a combination of series parallel combination of the resistances. Let us talk about passive components, and I'm giving them some DC excitation. So what I do, I ask them, now analyze this given network with some known values. Maybe 100 ohm resistor, 200 ohm resistor, 300 ohm resistor, and some maybe 50 volt DC excitation on one side, 60 volt DC excitation on other side. I am giving them a kind of a two-port network. I am asking them to analyze. Now what I do, I ask them, okay, components are kept in a different boxes there. You pick up those appropriate values of the components, that is different values of resistances. Take a source, go to the breadboard or the electrical workbench wherein general purpose breadboard is there. You mount all those components, that is resistances, apply the excitation and find. Why we are asking them? Because we want to validate what we teach them in a theory, that algebraic sum of currents reaching at a node in any electrical network, whether it is zero. Oh, we want to validate that. So for validation purpose, what we are doing, we are giving them a component first, analyzing theoretically. Now I am giving them actual components and asking them to validate. When they perform the experiment, they come to me and they tell, oh, their results are not matching. Here is what is this research literate. What we are saying now, are we expecting them to do a research? No, we are asking, interpret this data now what you have got and try to make a valid conclusion. What are conclusions? Why the results are not matching? The results are not matching because they may not be aware of the fact that the resistance does have a tolerance, and hence my 100 ohm resistance may behave or may give me the actual value either as a 95 ohms or 105 ohms because of 5% tolerance, due to which my practical result or experimental result will not exactly match with the theoretical result, because while doing a theoretical analysis, I have considered 100 ohm resistance. And that's why it will not match now. And that's what you should tell students, not to write a stereotype conclusion that theoretical results and practical results are matching, hence proved. Ask them not to write those conclusions. Write why your results could not be matched. Write that, yes, even the excitation or the source might not be exactly giving the same value. 50 volt DC, it may be 49.96, might possible. So this is what you need to tell students. Then modern tool usage. As you know that every engineering graduate needs to understand the modern tools in the domain of the respective graduate. Because these graduates will understand tools. Now, please understand, tools needs to be used only for validation purpose, not for the primary understanding or learning. For example, as an electrical engineer, when I teach a control system design course, how to draw a root locus, I must tell them with a pen and paper. Then only they will understand. Oh, how do you find out a centroid? How do you find out the breakaway points and all? Oh, how do we calculate that? They must understand. For validation purpose, yes, they may use a MATLAB with a simple command of system R locus and system. If I give the input about the system, they will be able to map that and they will be able to validate. So tools should be used as a validation, only for validation purpose and not for basic learning. With quote unquote, with understanding the limitations also of those tools. Because tools will always have a limitation, they must understand. Engineer and society. We must apply reasoning informed by contextual knowledge to assess societal health, safety, legal issues, and consequent responsibilities relevant to professional engineering practice. It means we are a part of, integral part of a society. We must understand. We must be able to reason something. In our domain, we must be able to reason something. We must be able to provide a solution which is eco-friendly and sustainable solution. We say that our natural resources are going to deplete. So we say, oh, non-conventional resources. Oh, non-conventional resources will have sustainability. It means we need to understand them to provide a sustainable and eco-friendly or environment-friendly solution. For example, refrigerant, as you know, because of the depletion of the ozone layer, we don't use the CFC gases. We use non-CFC gases. It means freon or R12 is banned. For refrigeration, today's refrigeration, we use R134A or hydrocarbons like R600 or R90. It means that we use, that is what we need to tell them, students. Oh, that Montreal Protocol 2010 has banned the use of CFC gases because it harms the ozone layer. It depletes the ozone layer. This is what we need to tell them. 8, ethics. I always believe we must embed ethical behavior because this is now behavioral attribute. This is a behavioral attribute. As knowledge, skill, and behavior, this is a behavioral attribute. Individual and teamwork, again, is a behavioral attribute. It will have something of a skill, but it will be more of a behavioral attribute. Function effectively as an individual, as a member of leader or a leader in a diverse teams. Communication, very important. They must be able to communicate effectively on complex engineering activities with an engineering community and with the society at large. It means they must have a presentation skill, they must have written skills, all kind of skills. Lifelong learning. I always believe lifelong learning is a philosophy which you must embed among the students. Because the knowledge or the technology which they will study perhaps may become obsolete after 5 years down the line. We must embed these students how to learn, how to adapt, how to learn the new concepts. It means that basic philosophy we must embed so that they will be able to learn on their own. That embedding the philosophy of learning on their own is basically a lifelong learning. You must embed that. And last but not the least, which has been added a few years down the line, because most of our graduates started opting and going for and managing the projects, and they go for manager level position, and that's why project management and finance. We do learn, we do study, because project management is altogether a new era and a new technology. Every project is a unique in nature. So how the project management happens and finance, because if project gets delayed, the financial cost or the cost escalation happens. We need to explain them. We need to give them exposure about the philosophies of project management and finance, and thus 12 graduate attributes. These are nothing but program outcomes. These are what program outcomes. So if you look at these, you will be able to map them in the 3 baskets of knowledge, skill, and behavior. The context and the quantification may be different, but yes, you will be able to map them among the 3 baskets of knowledge, skill, and behavior. I'm showing you, as I told you, I will just take one. One I said I will take the graduate attribute, and I will show you how we can have the assessment of that. If you remember, I told one program outcome. It has a competencies and it has a performance indicator. So one program outcome, see, presently we are doing assessment in a macro way. We are assessing program outcome directly. This is called as a micro assessment. What micro means? Oh, for every program outcome, we'll have a set of competencies, and each competency will be associated with set of performance indicators. I will just take one example to make you familiar with the philosophy of a competency and performance indicator. So I'm taking one. Design and development of solutions is program outcome 3 or graduate attribute 3. What it says, design solutions for complex engineering problems and design system components or processes that meet the specified needs with appropriate consideration for public health, safety, cultural, societal, and environmental consideration. This is what is a graduate attribute. Now, for this graduate attribute, let us understand what are the competencies to be developed. So, what are the competencies? Oh, these are set of competencies. What are the competencies? Ability to define complex problem. So I'm saying, what are the competencies? Ability to define, ability to generate diverse set of solutions. Again, this is ability, because we're talking about competency. Ability to select. So first is to define, second is to generate set of solution, third is to select one solution out of the solutions which you have generated, and fourth is to ability to advance an engineering design. So these are the 4 competencies which we are looking at. Each competency will be associated with set of performance indicator, because how do you understand? Oh, each competency has certain performance indicator. So let us pick one competency and understand. So I'm picking up one competency. I'm saying ability to generate as one of the competency. If you remember, I said ability to define, then ability to generate, ability to select, and ability to advance. So there were 4 competencies. One competency I have picked it. It has set of performance indicators. How do I say that I have ability to generate? Oh, are the 3 performance indicators. If I'm able to evaluate, if I'm able to apply formal idea generation, oh, this is one of the performance indicator. If prototypes algorithm to develop a diverse set of design solution, oh, is my performance indicator. Am I able to identify the functional and non-functional criteria for evaluation? All these 3 are performance indicators. With these assessment tools, with this performance, oh, I'm able to say, I'm able to demonstrate this competency, which is ability to generate. This is called as a micro level of assessment. What you can do, you can analyze each program outcome, each graduate attribute with the set of competencies, define set of competencies, define set of performance indicator. This will help you to do a micro level of assessment in terms of your program outcomes, in terms of your graduate attributes. Just one example. If you recall, the key constituents of OBE, the first was vision mission, then it was program educational objectives, then it was program outcomes influenced by graduate attributes, and last was course outcomes. Design approach, top-down approach. So I'm coming to the last approach of course outcomes. How do we articulate a course outcomes? What are course outcomes basically? Oh, course outcomes are basically, they focus on aspects of learning. I have just highlighted keywords. Aspects of learning, not studying, please understand. They are number, usually 4 to 6 for each course. I am presuming that you have 6 units of teaching, and they are specific enough to be measurable. Whenever you articulate, you have. When you articulate this, what should be your methodology? Oh, every course teacher has a wisdom. So every course teacher must articulate his or her course outcomes. In a faculty meeting, they must present and they must deliberate, discuss, because someone might be having more wisdom who also might have taught that course, may able to add a value to it. So before finalizing the course outcome, I believe every course teacher must prepare for his or her courses and discuss, deliberate in a department faculty meeting, and then finalize. Both, it's mapping with program outcomes also. Presently, I'm not talking about mapping because mapping is not today's our scope, but when you even a map also, or while mapping also you must deliberate. Relevance, mapping is nothing but relevance. You must understand its relevance. For this, I will suggest a very simple method to articulate. Take a piece of paper in parts. unit number 1 to 6, presuming that every course has 6 units of teaching. Sometimes you may have 7, sometimes you may have 5, but I'm just taking one guideline. Then second column, NBA does not ask you this. The NBA does ask you outcome. But what you can do, second column of your paper can be, you write to objective or purpose. I told you, my first topic is a solution of a differential equation. I will write why I want to teach that particular objective. Why I want to teach that? Oh, I will say I want to make student familiar with the solution of a differential equation. That is course outcome and program outcome. The understand the complementary function and particular integral so that they will understand the solution of a differential equation. So my objective is to make them familiar. And what is expected outcome? Oh, they will be able to solve engineering problem involving differential equation. So if they are able to solve engineering problem involving differential equation, oh, my purpose is served. My purpose was to make them familiar with the objective of solving differential equation. And my topic is solution of a differential equation. Classical differential equation, complementary function and particular integral. As I told you, 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy. I will take you through a very simple example. If you understand these 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy, oh, you are done. You will be able to articulate your course outcomes properly. In fact, I'll show you my next slide as just articulated course outcome of one course and its mapping with the Bloom's taxonomy. I am taking again a simple example of electrical engineering, which every engineer must have understood. This is Kirchhoff's current law. What's Kirchhoff's current law states? Kirchhoff's current law states algebraic sum of currents reaching at a node in any electrical network is a 0. Algebraic sum is 0. That is, I call it as a remembering. It is just recalling. I am just recalling. Next level is understanding. Or someone asked me, can you explain how this algebraic sum is 0? So then I must know what is current. Oh, current is a flow of electrons. Algebraic sum means what? If I take a node, some of the currents will be incoming towards that node, some of will be leaving that node. So entering the node as well as leaving the node, I must presume some sign convention associated with that. So if I presume that incoming currents are negative, or outgoing will be leaving the node will be positive. So I1 plus I2 plus I3 minus I4 minus I5 minus I6 will be 0 because this minus and plus is sign convention. And it is true from the fact that what is current? Current is a flow of electrons and electrons cannot accumulate at a point. It means that total number of electrons reaching a node must leave that, entering the node must leave that node. That is what is understanding. Then comes applying. Or then you give me simple network and you say applying Kirchhoff's current law, find out currents in all branches is application. It means I am using the information in another familiar situation. I have the information because I know what is Kirchhoff's current law. It means remembering. I know what is the interpretation. Oh, now simply I am using that information in another familiar situation. Now I have given another network and I ask find out current in various branches. Application. Then comes analyzing. Now what I'm doing? Oh, I'm making it little complex now. I am giving you a network, but I'm now very specific. I am saying applying Kirchhoff's current law, find out current flowing through 4 ohm resistor. That is what analyzing. Now, unless and until I don't analyze that, I don't explore my understanding and relationship, I will not able to find out the answer. So what I will do? Oh, I will apply my knowledge and I will analyze that. Next comes evaluation. I am giving you 3 different networks, similar networks, and I am saying, tell me which one is the best network in terms of performance. That is what evaluation. So what I will be doing? I will be analyzing every network. Please understand, when I talk about the higher level of Bloom's taxonomy, lower levels are embedded, automatically embedded in that. So when I'm analyzing 3 networks, no, it means that I'm evaluating now the performance because I have to make a decision which one is a better network. That is what evaluating is. And now if I give a set of components, I give 5-6 components to the students and I give a couple of excitations or sources and I tell them, now arrange this whole combination of these components in such a way that current flowing through 2 ohm resistor will be 1 ampere, and that is what is creating it. Because I have to generate my new ideas now. I have to generate new ideas, then and then only I will be able to make a network in such a way that that network will have 2 ohm resistor, current flowing through that will be 1 ampere. So I have to make possible combinations. I may have to do trial and errors, but I have to generate ideas, new ideas, and I have to create. And that's how Kirchhoff's current law example, I can take you from remembering to creating level. By and large, our first and second year courses, by and large, usually gets mapped with first bottom 4 levels. Remembering, understanding, applying, and analyzing. And our third and final year courses, last 2 year courses, normally gets, because these are higher order thinking level. That's why they normally gets mapped with the top 4 levels: creating, evaluating, analyzing, and applying. So with this application, I'm showing you a course outcome of my one course. I'm showing. I'm saying I'm teaching a course at second year electrical engineering level and electromagnetic engineering course, and I'm saying student will be able to compute, calculate, apply, relate, and select. You can see these are the attributes which you can see relates with the Bloom's taxonomy. So if I show you the next slide, you'll find I'm mapping them with the different levels. Please understand, BTL means Bloom's taxonomy level. When I say it is mapped with the understanding level, no, please understand, the bottom levels are always embedded. Understanding level embeds remembering level. Applying level embeds remembering and understanding level. Because I'm saying apply the knowledge. Here I'm saying calculate or compute. With understanding I'm able to do. Relate or select. Understanding is helping me. Means I have a knowledge, remembering, recalling the information, and understanding, select. And this is how you should be able to do for every course. This is you should be able to do for every course. Then comes PSOs. These are new things. What is PSO? PSO is a USP of your program. I will give you, before telling you what is PSO, I'll give you a simple example. In College of Engineering, Pune, we have various labs actually, very specialized labs. But let me give you one simple example of civil engineering. Civil engineering lab, civil engineering department has, our program has one excellent lab established and set up in association with Indian Plumbing Association. What is that lab? That lab has all modern type of fixtures, technologies, demonstrations in public health engineering. So that lab is completely dedicated for public health engineering. It is established in association with Indian Plumbing Association. Excellent lab. Now why? What is my USP? When student goes for interview in various corporations, especially big corporations, wherein public health engineering is a concern, these students will always have an X factor because they get a exposure to this. And that's why that is a program specific outcome, because it's a USP. It is a part of program. They do have public health engineering as one course, but they get a better exposure of the tech, better exposure of the philosophy. Similar lines in electrical engineering department, we have a lab, one lab established by L&T Powai, Mumbai, which is dedicated to the new technologies and devices in the area of protection, digital protection. Our students will always get exposure to the recent trends or recent technologies. And every year, L&T will recruit 10 students from electrical, and they will directly put them on job because they are already trained by the institute. Because they will train our faculty and technical staff first. In turn, we will train them during 6 months during the lab session. And that's what is PSO. So PSO is beyond POs. Please understand, they are beyond POs. They are specific to a particular program. Usually they are 2 to 4 in number. They must have a process for arriving at them. How you arrive them? It is different. They must be realistic. And as I said, they get evaluated along with POs because it is a part of curriculum. And that's why they will get evaluated along with POs. I'm just giving you a very simple methodology to articulate that. See, NBA has identified program outcomes which are graduate attributes. Your stakeholder and facilities, what you are having, you are identifying what are your PSOs, what is the uniqueness of your program, what is the USP of your program through which you are identifying. And that's what is PSO. program specific outcomes. I'm just giving an example. We also have a center of excellence in energy systems. That is, we have renewable energy, and we do have a center of excellence in embedded systems also. So I'm giving one example of PSO of an embedded system. We do have a small incubation center wherein student can specify, design and prototype and test modern electronic systems. That's why it is possible. It means they have upper age because we do have that facility. Also, they have facility to architect, partition and select appropriate technology for implementation of a communication system. It means that something which is USP or X factor, you always say, if you go to buy a mobile in a market, no, every mobile has a unique features, right? And that's what is a USP. Unique selling proposition or property, you call it as, for every product is there. Similarly, for your program, what is your USP? And that USP is nothing but PSO. That is nothing but PSO. So when we talked about all these components, how they are integrated, how they are associated with each other, so you can see vision, mission you have here. Then you have program educational objective. Or then you have program outcomes influenced by graduate attribute. GAs are graduate attribute. And then you have COs. Please understand, this indicates that one particular course outcome may get mapped to high level with one program outcome, but may also get mapped to a moderate level with some other program outcome. And that's why you can say interlinking will always be there. And that's how this pyramid depends. If I summarize all these things together, our entire discussion, I can put it in a simple picture, which is a OBE framework, which was today's topic of our discussion. Oh, we do have, you can see here, we do have a vision and mission and engineering graduate attributes, with the help of which we have program educational objectives, student outcomes, we call it as the program outcomes. Every course will have course outcomes, that is course outcomes. So this is what is the philosophy. Then this is methodology. We have a planning and delivery, so teaching learning. Then we do have a course assessment. As I told you, if you look at implementation, COs will be first assessed. Course outcomes assessment will help to assess program outcomes. In turn, it will help you to assess program educational objective. And in the whole this process, you will have feedback system, which we call it as improvements. And obviously, you will always have inputs from your stakeholders. This is what is the complete OBE framework. If you have any questions, I'll answer. Just summarizing the criteria, which I iterated in the beginning only, but this is just 10 criteria. These are 1 to 7 program level criteria. And as I told you, the weightages are slightly different because for the tier 1 institute, you falls under tier 1 institute, MNIT Jaipur. So you have 175 marks for criteria number 3, course outcome and program outcome, because you have freedom and flexibility. Whereas tier 2 institute has 120 marks. Teaching, learning and curriculum, you have 100 marks, here 120 marks. And student performance, you have 100 marks, whereas they have 150 marks. Rest marks are exactly same. Criteria number 5 and 6, faculty, there is no difference. They are exactly same. So 78% weightage is for a program, please understand, out of 1000 mark evaluation. And 220 marks or 20, the 3 criteria, which are 120, 50, 50. They are related with obviously the institute level criteria, which is criteria number 8, 9 and 10. And that's what I said, 220 marks. So 50, 50 and 120. Student support, governance, institutional support and financial resources. And this is how the 1000 mark evaluation happens. Thank you very much for your patient listening. If you have any questions, I'll be very happy to answer them. Otherwise, thank you very much for your patient listening.
Thank you very much, sir, for very valuable information and for kind acceptance that you delivered the talk on the first day. And it is very informative talk, sir. And we got the idea of the basic OBE and NB accreditation process. So there are some few questions in the chat box, sir. If you allow, I can read it.
Please read one by one. I will answer one by one. No problem.
Okay. Okay, sir. Sir, one person is asking,
Yes, sir.
what difference between the PSO and PO?
Yes, that's what I said. Again, I will reiterate. PO, these are graduate attributes which are uniform across all the disciplines. Let us take electrical engineering program offered by 5 different institutions. Their program outcomes will be same because graduate attributes will be same. However, their PSOs will be different because every program may have different uniqueness. So uniqueness of that program is called as a PSO.
Okay.
That's why I gave an example of USP. USP of a College of Engineering Pune civil engineering program. We do have an excellent lab in a plumbing, which is established in association with Indian Plumbing Association. That is a uniqueness. That is a USP. Okay. Perhaps you may not find that. Even a fab lab, which is established in association with MIT USA, which is in production engineering department, it is a unique in a country. So that unique lab you will not find wherein 3D printing or you can develop and design all kind of models. That is a uniqueness. So that uniqueness is called USP or PSO.
Okay, thank you, sir. Second question is by Gaurav Bharadwaj. Why
Yes.
Washington Accord does not give credit to Tier 2 institute and only
Come again. Some
is asking about Washington Accord, sir.
Yes, Washington Accord. Why it does not give
credit to Tier 2 institutes and it only satisfied Tier 1 institutes?
No, who said? Who said? It's not like that. No, to credit means what do you mean by that? Credit means what do you mean by that?
Means it's asking that Washington Accord gives certifies to Tier 1 institute, not
Tier 1 because those criteria, yes, because those criteria are a little stringent and different, and that's why Tier 1 institute are autonomous institutes.
Okay. If basic experimental facility is not available in the institute, then how can faculty motivate students to do for experimental and research related problem?
No, actually, what I feel, actually experimental facilities are usually available in the institute. And see, when you say now, AICT says, world says you need to do a skilling, even NEP says also the institution needs to be multidisciplinary in nature, you need to embed different skills. So practical is an integral part of it. What I feel that you must develop a facility. Perhaps it may happen or it might be possible that some institutions may not have facilities as on date, but they need to gradually develop that. Institutions has to provide the facilities.
Why fund provided by TechCube not used to develop basic facilities? I think.
This is a policy question I cannot answer. I am an NBA expert. I am delivering a talk on NBA. Perhaps I may not be the right person to answer that question. Perhaps Dr. Khodke sir would have been the right person because he is a policy maker.
Okay, sir. Can we include COs in the syllabus itself?
Yes, sir. Very much, sir. Yes. In the CO context, I want to add one more thing. See, sometimes people do get confused. For example, I'm teaching a basic electrical engineering course in a first semester, and I do have concurrently lab also. Do I need to have separate course outcomes for lab? The answer is absolute no, big no. The reason is that lab is a subset of your theory course. So whichever course outcomes which are mapped with that theory part, you can evaluate with one more additional tool, which is a laboratory tool. And that's why you need not have separate course outcomes. But quote unquote, in case your laboratory course appears altogether different, then yes, yes, you can articulate 2 to 3 separate course outcomes for a laboratory course, which is appearing in a curriculum or in a course separately. That is just I wanted to add to that.
Okay, sir. Next question by Utkarsh Nigam. What is the difference between outcome and output?
I gave a couple of examples. See, output means I told you now, I am a student of engineering. I got 75 marks in mathematics. Okay, wherein one of the topic I'm saying was a differential solution of a differential equation. If I am not able to solve second year engineering problem involving a differential equation, then there is output, there is no outcome. Okay. Output means because I have passed that course, so output is there. But am I able to demonstration of the ability is known as outcome. Am I able to demonstrate the ability which I have? The answer is no. That's why there is no outcome. So outcome is basically a demonstration of the ability.
Okay, next question.
That in terms of KSB, knowledge, skill and behavior, we are iterating knowledge, skill and behavior.
In Bloom's taxonomy, what is the difference between understanding and analyzing?
Okay, understanding is interpretation, whereas analyzing is making use of the remembering and understanding to analyze or solve or interpret. So it is one level above that. Understanding is only mere understanding. Analyzing is interpretation of that understanding.
Okay. And one is asking why self-finance institute, how self-finance institute in areas like Chhattisgarh can develop their PSO.
No, I'm saying, see, what you can do in the beginning, you can understand what are your strengths. First of all, you do the analysis of your student, maybe last 5 years data you analyze, and you find out actually what are your strengths, what is your USP, where your graduates are going, how you are making them maybe excellent in one of the area, like that you can do. I understand they do have a limitations. They may not able to develop everything in one go, or it will take time. But at least they can analyze their data and find out what are their strengths actually. And one of the strengths can be their PSO. One of the strengths over a period of time can be their PSO.
One Jubair Patel is asking why GAs are fixed. Don't you think University Institute can frame GS of their own?
Come again. What you said?
Asking is for graduate. Why
Graduate? See, we are following Washington Accord. No, we are following Washington Accord, and graduate attributes are demonstrated by Washington Accord, and that's why we are following it.
So, sir, they are asking why institute cannot frame their own graduate attributes.
No. See, if the institute starts framing, how the evaluation will happen? No, evaluation has to happen on some uniform scale. When you want to evaluate students, you conduct examination for all the students, same examination question paper. So question paper has to be same if you want to have a uniform assessment. That's why there is some benchmarks. There are some graduate attributes given by NBA on the lines of Washington Accord, which are evaluated. So some common framework has to be there. No, see, whole SAR and whole evaluation guidelines, which I spelled out 10 criteria, are based on those graduate attributes.
Someone is asking, can we get your slides?
Some statistical data is there, which is confidential data. I will see what I can share with you. I will share.
Okay, thank you, sir. Some learning materials can be shared.
Yes, definitely I can share some learning material, definitely, sir.
Okay, during the COVID online classes are going on, how it is going to affect OBE framework? Need any modification?
What I feel, I always believe that this can be the online teaching or online classes can be a supplementary thing. It cannot be the basic thing. I always believe face-to-face teaching, because as Dr. Uday Kumarji was mentioning that body language of a teacher, face-to-face learning, the emotions of a teacher, the reaction of a teacher in a class, all these matters in the learning. You can have a blended learning, some online, some in a face-to-face. But yes, in this case, see, this may get subsided. We let us hope that it may be a matter of 6 months, and in a 3 years assessment period of a NBA, I don't think this 6 months period or 1 semester online teaching will affect much. This is what I feel. This is my personal opinion.
Sir, that CO should be written for module wise, or it should be for entire course?
No, but see, it's like breaking down the information. If you think that sometimes, see, I teach one course, control system design course, wherein I talk about controller design in time domain and frequency domain. So I combine these 2 units together and write one course CO. But see, usually if you write CO wise, module wise, it will be useful to you in the context of assess, because see, ultimately you have to assess also them. You need to devise assessment mechanism like unit test 1, unit test 2, mid-semester examination, end semester examination. So how will you able to break down the questions also? How will you able to map? Because ultimately you have to map also. So in my opinion, if you do model wise, it will help you. But there is no hard and fast rule that you cannot do course wise. You can do course wise.
One question.
It's a matter of assessment.
Surajit Ghosh is asking, but the question is not clear. It's saying how every category is evaluated is there any particular set of parameters to evaluate every category, or it is based on
Come again. What I'm trying to understand your question. Come again.
Surajit Ghosh, sir, it seems like it's not clear question, so we'll skip it.
Okay.
Someone is asking, please show your second slide on POS.
PSO.
Okay, P like program educational objectives.
Okay, second slide. Okay. No, what he wants.
I don't know, just he is asking. So can you
No,
ask,
if we understand the question, I think we'll able to answer it.
Jagnesh is asking, said, can you ask your question again? We didn't get your point. Okay, how much COs minimum maximum for a course?
No, I told them general guidelines are 4 to 6. General guidelines. But hard and fast, no hard and fast rule I'm saying. Someone says that with 3 COs, 3 course outcomes, I am able to justify my course and evaluate, fair enough. Someone says, no, I need 7 to 8 COs, no problem. It is up to you because ultimately you have to evaluate all those, no?
Sir, but I think as per NBA guideline, they are saying that
4 to 6, 4 to 6.
Yeah, 6. Up to 6.
4 to 6. That's what I said, 4 to 6. Guideline says 4 to 6, but guidelines are guidelines. It's not hard and fast boundaries.
Okay. One is asking where COPO are for MTech and BTech will be different.
Come again. I'm not. Sometimes your voice is breaking, no, that's why.
Yeah. Sir, BTech and MTech, they are asking that COPO will be same or different for the same.
No, if course contents are 100% same, see, there are 2 aspects. One is if you are teaching the course together, means BTech and MTech students are part of the same curriculum and same class, then you can go with the same COPO. If you think the graduate, postgraduate course is at little higher level, then you can change, modify couple of COs accordingly. You can do that.
Okay, one was asking about the slides to see that, to understand the way the statement are written. That's
no, I told you what you need to write. I told you program educational objectives means you do the analysis of your whole data for last 5 years and where your graduates are doing, and then you say your graduates who were employable where or demonstrate measurable progress. So whatever they are able to demonstrate during last 3 to 5 years, that will be your program educational objective. That's how you should articulate it.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I think this was the last question.
Okay.
One more question came. Read it. Yeah. Out of 1,000 points, there are multiple set of category for every category. How the
total 52 sub criteria are there. Total 10 criteria, total 52 sub criteria are there. Each sub criteria has different weightages. For example, criteria number 1, vision, mission, and program educational objective, it has further 1.1 to 1.5. Like that.
Sir, my personal question is that how to assess any laboratory course?
Okay. No, so for that, what you can do, you can develop your own rubrics. In fact, rubrics can be one of the topic. I mean, rubrics can be one session. How to develop a rubric? Because there are, 2 kind of rubrics: holistic and analytical rubric. Rubric is what? Rubric is an indirect assessment tool. So where you do not have a direct assessment tool with the help of which you will be able to quantify your evaluation, no, you can design your own assessment tool that is called as a rubrics. So you can develop your own rubrics or own assessment method for a laboratory course.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And thank you again for a very nice presentation and active involvement by question and answer through the participants. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure interacting with all of you. I hope if I have added some delta knowledge to your knowledge base, my purpose of delivering a talk is served. Thank you very much.
And Vikramaditya sir, if you want to say something, or we can close.
Yes. Vikramaditya sir, your mic is mute. I guess your mic is mute. It appears mic.
Yeah. Sir, thank you very much for sparing your valuable golden time and reaching us with the MBA accreditation process. Really, you have started with the story that have really created entertainment, and then you have focused on the topic, and you have first of all focused on input-output based accreditation, and then you have outcome-based accreditation, which involves knowledge, skill, and behavior. Then you are really clear the concept of the vision, mission, and also program education objectives. And then you have also included, you have explained the program outcomes with an example, how these are being evaluated, what are the competency required, and what are the performance indicators. And lastly, you have focused on a new topic called program specific outcomes. Okay, sir, really, I was very much benefited by your knowledge, and no doubt my participants will also be benefited by it. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you to Chandrakant Sahu sir also for organizing such a nice program and also involving us with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank
Sahu. Thank you, every one of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, participants. So we'll meet tomorrow in 3 p.m. So please join. We'll send the different link. So this link will not be valid. Thank you for the joining. Okay. We are signing off.